thử trong lương tới vì luôn lọt xin nhà với này anh em bị khách đây này anh đến ran của mà đây mình cái này kho là nhận là khi chặt ở thời hạn lại mày là tới mày của bạn này mưa bay đi dịch ngay thì mình sẽ tới hàng bài tiếp kinh viên nào mình xin trên tờ nó cứ tay người không tờ chết tay nên bọn này su hai
anh ấy dương ở đại do nó một tay ở 11 bạn
bạn xin không kia
see in a
normal nên lại món
see normal electrical meter there is a LED inside, LED blink, so the light comes from the meter, okay, but in an electromechanical meter no light, so this has to send the light. So for example it can send a light, so it will send the light and it will see the reflection and coming back the marking every time moves, huh?
Ra của ở lên trên đấy như lên giải thay ba mình đát đọc bên cái này khó viên là hai chấn này đấy tôi chỉ bắt chắc là những viên lên trên mà hạt lên đó ở bên cái này khó cái bài hạt lên nó cho lừa hạt
Okay, understood? Okay, the error measurement. This is error measurement. You press this. You press this, it will come screen. Then you do measurement. It will come like this. Huh? The same screen. Okay, similar screen. So don't worry. Later we all do with your own hand. Huh? I won't do. You do. So then you will remember this. So this is. Error measurement page. So almost 98% of the time you are in the field you are using this. Okay, maybe 90%. You mostly use this page. Okay, this straight away tells you the accuracy of the meter. Okay, so why 2? You don't need 2, you can have only 1. Okay, because this has 2 sensors. But you can use only 1. You can disable the other one. Understand? You can use only 1, whatever. Sometimes you need 2 because like in a medium voltage or high voltage, you want to test whatever and whatever, reactive power together. Then you need to connect 2 sensors together. Understand? But most of your application, I am sure you are using only 1 at a time. So you need to connect only 1. So you can disable it. For example, here you see now, I think both the screen are there. I can disable it. Later I will show you. Okay, I switch off this. Off. See, now only 1. I just switch off the other one. Okay, so in most of the cases you may use only 1. Okay, so both are same, exactly identical. So sensor 1, sensor 2. Okay, pulse sensor 1, pulse sensor 2. Okay, 1. You see now, very important here. So this was the menu. You click here on the error measurement, it goes to a different menu now. Okay, because this menu is for this function, error measurement. So depending upon which menu you will choose, the next menu will change. Okay?
The error of sensor 1 and sensor 2, why not the same error?
Because they may be, you are connecting to different value. Maybe normally 1 you may connect to active power, other may be to reactive power. So it cannot be same. Understand? But if both you connect to the same one, of course it will be same. Okay? So a few things here. So if you see in the screen some few important things. This is the main error. Okay? Error. 1 stands for sensor 1, 2 stands for sensor 2. Okay? in percentage. This part is not so important, but you need to understand what it is. You can set the limits. See, the instrument measure. Whether the meter is good or bad, it is your decision. And what is your criteria? EDC may have one criteria, maybe in pilot PEM may have different criteria, okay, up to the car. So you can set what is your criteria here, plus minus 1% or plus minus 0.5% or whatever, okay. So the field technician is easy. You don't need to think, oh, what is the value? So if it is within this, it is good, okay, simple as that. So it is just a tolerance, okay. This does not change the value here, but this is one shot you can see it is good or bad. So if it goes out, it will show as fake or something like that. Okay? Very easy for field technician, that's all. But this is the actual error. If you want to write it down, write down the error, or not down the error, this is the actual error. Okay? Then of course it has, it can tell you what is the power. Energy. Energy is when you say sigma is integrated over a period of time in energy. So what is here sigma means? Means total. Total. That means A plus B plus C. Okay? So if you want to check individual phase accuracy also you can do. You choose individual phase. Okay? Example. In this, I don't know whether you can see, I just show you. I'll go to the setup. Yeah, I go to setup. I go to change. So I can choose what you want. I can choose, for example, it is a P sigma. I can choose P1, P2, P3, Q sigma, Q1, Q2, Q3. So it is up to you. All the option is there. You can choose whether you want single phase, all the three together, whether you want active, reactive, apparent, it's up to you. You can choose all. And this is nothing but your pulse ratio setting. Constant. The C is constant or the ratio of the. Normally, in the meter it is written down. How many pulse per kilowatt hour? So you have to note it down. Okay? If you don't know the value, there is a technique to learn. That this is what I told you in special function. There are some functions to learn. This we will teach you later how to do it. But most of the time it is written in the meter. Okay? But there is one problem these days. Maybe in Cambodia you don't face so much. Especially in very smart meters, this pulse ratio can be programmably changed. So what is written only means what are the setting when the manufacturer shipped to you. Later maybe your office can change the setting. So you have to be very careful. Sometimes what is written may not be the actual setting. Maybe you need to press the LED, LCD, go to a screen to know what is the value. You will always see this sometimes. Okay? Because sometimes the printed function and actual may be different. Maybe you want to use the primary value and your field transformer ratio is different. After then all your pulse constant changes. You see. Okay? Of course, then once you set, you have to start measuring the error. There are so many settings in how to measure error. Example, how many pulse you need to take to measure error. 1 pulse, 2 pulse, 3 pulse, 6 pulse. The more pulse you take, the more long the test duration is. It takes more time to test. Okay? So you need to tell how much pulse. You can tell in two ways. You can tell in how many pulses or how many seconds or minutes. You can tell, okay, I test for 1 minute. Whatever be the pulse. Or I can say, I test for 3 pulse. Okay? It is up to you. Both has its advantage and disadvantage. You can choose what you want. Okay?
And you recommend for
Okay, let us take an example. You put time. You say, suppose say you put 1 minute as a time. That means to say if no pulse come in 1 minute, the meter is failing. You don't know what is error. So what can cause if no pulse come in 1 minute? Many reasons. One is maybe at that time the load became 0, so no pulse came. So sometimes you cannot predict the timing. Okay. So for example, if you have a very high load, you don't need to wait for 1 minute because the pulse comes very fast. You wait for 3 pulse or wait for 1 minute, same. Okay. So normally for very slow pulse, you put a higher time rather than pulse, and very high rate you can put pulse. Up to you. I mean, there is no real rules. It is your comfort level to get the best stable reading. So for example, if you ask me, I seldom put 1 pulse. If you put 1 pulse, you will see the value jumping because there will be some variation. If you put say 3 pulse, okay, there is some averaging there. Okay? Understand? No. Sometimes no. Sometimes no.
Because when we take more time, we get more simple.
Okay, to some extent correct, but the problem is you don't need to wait for too long. Then it's wasting
Just
time.
1 minute or 2
Yeah, 1 minute is all right. See, if you are maybe later in the afternoon we test it, you can feel it. Okay, it is individual choice. If you ask me my personal opinion, I like to use pulse rather than time, but it is entirely up to you. I cannot say I am right, you are wrong. No, if you say. Okay, because I tell you some advantage of pulse. You in pulse you can do few things like you can tell how many pulse you need to take average, everything you can define. In minute you don't have this control. Maybe in 1 minute you get only 1 pulse, or maybe you get 10 pulse depending upon your load. Okay. But sometimes people use minute because they are very sure. Okay, it takes something like that. So for example, this screen is like a status bar. It just tells you, this is really not so useful when the pulse is coming very fast, but when the pulse is coming slowly at low current, or maybe it is very useful to know how many more pulse I have to wait or something like that. It will tell you, for example, it says 4 impulse. Actually, the setting is for 10 impulse. Okay, right now 4 impulse already got. I'm waiting for now 6 more. So you know the progress. Understand?
Trong các cái này nó quy định chặt các cái lên công tơ dương ai qua đòi dương su qua mấy qua sẽ không ăn nào ở hai bên thang dương mà mọc ha ở cái lô mà hai này tới dương vô chìa để ta mà chìa mùi phi của mấy hai áp dương này lúc rất đó rứa co bây giờ ở trong thời gian tế dương ai thời chỉ theo như gặp mình đi qua này hai dân đánh đi chào mà để đi tới thì có mất nhưng mà chưa vấn nhưng vô là kho ra được mà rồi té rồi xin chỉ quát ở chiều hai lên để xa ha cái class anh cái chỗ này dân đâu quá đó mình dương mình cho bác ha quát ở lớn lâu quát đó ở được cái gì nó cả này là xin chỉ lâu quát không như thế nào ha nó lâu nhót là mặt bạn hà rồi tay nó cả này nó là xin bờ lâu tịp mẹ ha pe cái túi giá ha nó lâu như mình tệ mùi nó lâu